If you have ADHD and you keep falling off track with food and fitness plans and healthy habits and routines, there's a good chance that it has got absolutely naff all to do with motivation and discipline and everything to do with executive dysfunction. And most typical weight loss and fitness advice is making this worse for you. Now, you might think, Lucy, she's a fitness coach, she knows what she's doing. I have not always found healthy eating fitness easy. I'm not one of those people that was like an athlete as a kid and hell to the no. I used to think I just couldn't follow through, that I was inconsistent. I'd have all these ideas in my head of eating healthy and being more active, and then when it came to starting it, that was a different story. I wasn't confused. I wasn't uneducated. I was actually quite a smart kid, gifted and talented, as quite a lot of us neurodivergents are. I understood healthy eating. I understood movement. I was quite fit as a kid. I did dance. But actually the taking of the action was a completely different story. And I thought, is it a motivation thing? It's got to be, because if I know what to do and I'm not doing it, then that's the logical explanation. But actually, it's a completely different explanation. And here is what it is. Now, if you have a neurodivergent brain, you will struggle with something called executive functioning. So executive functioning is basically a load of processes going in your brain which allow you to take action. It's planning, it's organization, it's prioritization. And when you have executive dysfunction, which is the opposite to executive functioning with a neurodivergent brain, it's basically like the gap between the knowing and the action, the middle ground. Like if you think there's knowing what to do, the action, and then in the middle there's loads of processes, which is executive functioning, that's what you lack. And that's why you can care so deeply. That's why you can know exactly what to do. You can have all the energy and want and desire to do it, and then when it's doing it, there's like nothing's happening. And because a lot of fat loss, fitness, healthy habits and routine require a lot of executive functioning, it's planning, it's tracking, it's organization, it's remembering, it's structuring, you're basically fighting almost a losing battle, because if that's what's needed and that's what you struggle with, then it's going to be hard from day one. If you look on the flip side, we struggle with all of this executive functioning, but then you've got the dopamine seeking. And our brain is always going to gravitate to what gives us the highest amount of dopamine. And if you think about things in relation to health and fitness, it is the more delicious, high sugar, high carb, high calorie food that is easier to access. It doesn't require as much planning and preparation. It's easy. If you think about it from healthy habits and routines, like going for a walk, it's easier to not go for a walk and sit and watch Netflix or doom scroll on your phone. And the same with exercise. It's easier to not do those things. So when coaches and trainers and people running these plans are saying, just stick to the plan, just do it, I think what they're realizing is we want to do it, but we struggle with the doing. And the not doing, or the doing of the unhelpful actions, is so much easier. And that's why it feels so freaking hard. That's why you can know what to do, but just not be doing it. And this is why so many people get royally stuck, because you're trying to follow a plan that works with this neurotypical approach that requires the executive functioning, that doesn't have the super high dopamine seeking challenge. And that's why you can feel this resistance. That's why you can feel like it's so freaking hard for you. Why there's so much shame with, why can't I just do these simple things? So you can start, fail, fall off, shame, repeat, and this cycle continues. So now you're thinking like, what is the solution to this then, Lucy? If it's so hard for me, like, am I just stuck feeling like this? And the answer is absolutely, of course not. I've broken free and I've helped many a woman to do it as well. And I can help you too. But what you need to understand is you need to find a way to work with executive dysfunction. If you are always trying to do the approaches that require so much planning and preparation and organization, you are always going to be in the exact same boat. So when I get a new client on board, what we look at is actually not doing more, not me drill sergeanting, anyway, just being a bit of a dickhead really to them, shouting at them, drilling all this motivation in. No, it's not about trying harder, it's reduce the friction. It's actually doing less. It's bringing down things, because if your brain stops fighting and isn't in this overwhelmed battle, it's going to come so much easier to you. So how do we reduce the friction? Here are 3 really simple things that you need to be doing on your fitness approach to bring down your friction. I call this the low friction setup, which is probably, when you listen to this, you're probably gonna be like, oh, that doesn't sound as sexy as going all in with a shred and this, that, and the other, but I promise you it will get you results. So the first change that you need to make is you need to remove decisions. Because the more decisions you have about what exercise should I do, what should I eat, how many steps should I do, how long should this walk be, the more that you're going to have this executive dysfunctioning going on of like the planning, the organization, decision making, and then you do nothing, or you do the easier, higher dopamine behavior. So you need reliable defaults. So this is why I will usually give my clients we go on a walk at this time for this length. We do this many steps. This is your workout plan. Go and do this thing on this day. And go and write a meal plan for the week so it's all mapped out and organized. The less decisions you have to make, the better. The next thing is removing the barrier to entry. Because with executive functioning, if you imagine like the sequence of you going to do a workout, for example, as like a series of steps, the more steps that you have to do an action, the more executive dysfunctioning is going to be like, I can't do that. And so you're less likely to do it. That's why things that are really quick and easy, we do with an ADHD brain. So think quick and easy meals, Amazon Prime, things like that. So if you can lower the entry point, so reduce those amount of steps, you're going to be much more likely to do it. So for example, if we think about an exercise, going to the gym, for example, you've got the planning of what to do in the gym. You've then got the getting your gym equipment out. Then you've got to drive to the gym. Then you've got to go through the gym doors. Then you've got to do the long workout. Then you've got to have the shower. And there's all these steps. And then it can just be like, So reduce the friction. So rather than needing to go to the gym for an hour, could you say, right, I'm going to go to the gym and just do a 20-minute workout? Rather than going on this long commute, could you tag going to the gym with something that you're already doing? So on the way home from work, could you already have your gym bag packed? So it's one less step. So reducing the steps and lowering the entry point is going to really, really help. And then the third thing is to externalize and set reminders for everything. I know you're a strong, independent, grown woman or man or person, and you want to own that. And we often don't do things like set reminders and accountability because it feels a bit pathetic. But if it's going to get you to do it, then it's great, right? Your brain does not have to hold all this information. Think about all the things we got to think about and do as a grown adult every single day. It's a lot. And it's a lot when you have executive dysfunctioning. So make life easy. Write lists, visuals, reminders. I have so many things that I have reminders for. Like I have an alarm every Wednesday to remind me to take the bins out, or I ain't taking the bins out. I have to write lists for really simple tasks. Like today I need to go post some parcels. If that wasn't on my list, it isn't getting done. So write things down, because if you're trying to hold it in your brain with the executive dysfunctioning, you aren't going to do it, all right? You are not inconsistent because you are pathetic or weak or lazy. It's because you have been trying to force motivation through a system that does not work for executive functioning. And when we can work with that and reduce friction, you will stop feeling like you're dragging yourself through this process and actually start to see results and actually see it be possible for you. Remove the friction, everything will change. Now, if you want some help in doing that, because understanding this is one part, right, but doing it is another, I will leave all the details of the ways that you could work with me in my coaching capacity below. No pressure, but it's just somewhere to go if you do want some more support that is built exactly for neurodivergent brains. And if this video has clicked for you and you want a more specific strategy on ways that you can reduce friction, I've done a whole video on something called my minimum baseline rule, which is one of the ways that you can remove decisions but still move forward towards your goal. So go and check that out. But over and out for today. Have a beautiful one, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.